The voice of Rugby League. Dave's looked after me and given me plenty of opportunities to help me out with telling the stories of Rugby League. And you mentioned Dave took over Ray French way back in the day, and I grew up listening to people like Ray French, and he was like the nostalgic voice of Rugby League, the Challenge Cup. And before then, you know, I'm a big fan of Eddie Waring from what I've learned since then. So Dave, just tell us a little bit about your journalistic career. How did you get into Rugby League, and how big a job is it that you've got right now?
Well, I was 2 years old when my dad took me to my first ever game of rugby league, so I've no memory of that game, but I've no memory. I grew up as a Wigan fan. My dad was a Wigan fan. My dad, we're from Bolton, which is not rugby league territory, and my dad grew up as a Bolton Wanderers fan. And as a teenager, early 20s, he went watching Leigh against Wigan, and Wigan had just signed some player that you've probably never heard of called Billy Boston. And my dad went, wow. I think it was more or less his first rugby league game. Wow, Billy Boston. So he ended up being a Wigan fan, and because he was a Wigan fan, he used to go out socialising in Wigan, and he met my mum, who's from Wigan, and they got married, and I came. So I always say, if Wigan hadn't signed Billy Boston, I might not be here.
So,
I love it. Yeah, but always been a massive. And growing up in Bolton, you know, and went to school in Bolton, there was me and my mate Kev, and we were the only rugby league fans in our school. So we became best mates because we were the only rugby league fans, and everyone else was kicking a football around, and we were trying to pick it up, and you know, we're making up songs about people you've probably genuinely never heard of. Billy Mellin, do you remember Billy Mellin, second row forward? Terry Hollingsworth, you'd have enjoyed playing against Terry Hollingsworth, and people like that. So I always wanted to be a journalist. I read a book when I was 16, and I won't go into the story because it's dead boring, but I read a book when I was 16 by an author who was a journalist, and I liked it so much I thought, I want to do what he does, and he was a journalist, so I thought that's what I'm going to do. And rugby league was a way in, and you know, I've managed to share the two passions of journalism and rugby league for 30 years.